Hey everybody, I'm glad you're back for day 2. This tip is going to be everything from beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So hang in there. I might have to break it up into 2 parts because I've got a lot to share with you today on how to use ChatGPT, in my humble opinion, the proper or better way. So let's begin. So what happens when you first log into ChatGPT and if you've already installed the AIPRM ChatGPT Prompts extension? First, let's go back to that where I left off yesterday. Let's say that you needed to create an article, or like I mentioned yesterday, wanting to write a book. Well, if you, again, click here and type in book, what it'll do, it'll filter out to what are roughly about 134 prompts that have to do with writing a book. But if you'll notice, they're not all prompts based on writing a book or even a chapter in a book, because what these folks do is when they upload their prompts, they're tagging them with the keywords book so that you can find these prompts. And in my humble opinion, they shouldn't do that. So when you take a look at these prompts, you could check what the requirements are. Like this one says it could run in 3.5, or this one says GPT-4, and you have to pay for GPT-4 in order to use it. So when you come up to the top, if you're using a free account, you won't see the GPT-4 option enabled because you have to have the paid account. It only costs $20 a month, which I definitely would do. So now as we scroll down, you can see that here, create a best caption for the Facebook and Instagram post. That has nothing to do with writing a book, but just ignore that type of stuff and then come to where you see the prompts for a book, like write a chapter of an informative book, human-like. So what happens, if you notice down here, when you click on these prompts, they're gonna like propagate down here. They're gonna change, right? So here, Amazon KDP ebook description writer. So watch down here, this is gonna change. Watch this, I'll click on it, and you notice it changed. So it puts the title here, the author, and then like the brief placeholder or instructions for you on what to do there. So if we come back up to the top and we start to scroll down row by row, write a complete book in one click. So if you clicked on that, notice that it changed here. It has the name of the prompt, the author, and then topic that you want to write a book for. And so what I would do, say for example, I want to write a book on sound healing. I'm just going to do this basic, simple, enter. And so now what it's going to do, it's going to take what the prompt already has put together in it, coded, programmed, if you will, and write a book based on sound healing. So now what a lot of people are doing is they're going out there and saying, oh, I'm a published author, or I'm an author now, I'm not published yet, but I'm an author, I've written a book with the help of ChatGPT. And this is fine to get started. I would not use the output from ChatGPT the way it is. I would definitely go through and read this. Now look, it stopped right here after this. By the end of this chapter, notice it choked, it didn't finish writing. So what you could do is you can come down here, hit continue to see it pick up from where it left off. And you notice it picks up on chapter 2. And it runs out of memory. It's not always running out of tokens. As you can see, we didn't get a lot of output out of it. What it could be is that it's just being used a lot, so it's running out of memory versus tokens. Like right here, it stopped again after chapter 2. Now, if we were to go back up and look and see how many chapters do we have, you got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 chapters. So it keeps stopping at the end of each chapter. So we're probably gonna have to keep hitting continue so that it can continue to write. And the next one should be chapter 3, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So it'll keep writing until it chokes. Again, it could just be being used pretty heavily right now. So it's going to stop writing. And basically, like I said, you don't want to use the output the way it is. You would copy all your output, paste it into something like Grammarly to make sure that the grammar and spell check is correct. But also you want to make sure that it's not plagiarizing anybody's content. Because remember what I told you yesterday, ChatGPT doesn't go out and create new content. What it does is it takes existing content and puts a spin on it, sort of like rewrites it and puts it together and serves it up to you. So in other words, the way I like to describe this to my students is there are no new ingredients, just a different way to bake the cake, if you will. All right. So that is the lesson for today, is how to use the prompt from AIPRM. And notice right here, it even tells you this prompt was made with this particular. Now the person that created this prompt is going to basically encode it or write the prompt out the way it wants it to spit out this information to you. And you have to take it and either use it to have as the foundation of, like, say for this example, your book, or move on and try a different prompt. But this is how you can basically start getting a skeleton version of your book, and then you can rewrite it, put it in your own flavor, put it in your own voice and brand. And in the next video, we're going to talk a little bit about seasoning, knowledge base, and training. They all kind of mean the same thing, but the way that you do them is different. So I'm going to show you how you can season, how you can use a knowledge base, and how you can train your ChatGPT to get better output every time you want to go and use it. All right, you guys, I hope you guys like this tip for day 2, and I might be coming out with a second tip today. All depends on what I got going on. So keep an eye out, because I think this third tip on training and using knowledge bases and how to use seasoning with your ChatGPT, you're really going to love.